Welcome back to the Messy Friendship Lessons podcast. Woo! I am joined by a new guest. We have a new face on the podcast, a very beautiful face. Please, would you introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. My name is Dayo. I'm very, very happy to be on Thompson's podcast today. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'm happy to have you here. So, the title of today's podcast episode is, okay, now I'm in my 20s. How do I make friends? And we're going to dive into that.
Yeah.
What do you think off the bat?
There's a lot to talk about because I think it's something that everyone really struggles with. Everyone I've spoken to in their 20s and they want to make friends is something that they struggle with. I think because you come out of that like school environment straight into adulthood, it's like, whoa, how do I do this? Do I have time for this? Like,
Exactly.
yeah, there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot for us to talk about.
I agree. Dayo and I have actually met in uni.
Yes.
So that I feel like a lot of people make their friends in uni.
Yeah, they
as
do.
well.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's also another thing that could come into this conversation. Before we get into it, as they know, we always do hot takes. So how it works, Dayo, is you say a friendship hot take.
Okay.
I vote yay or nay.
Okay.
I say friendship hot take.
Okay.
You vote yay or nay.
Okay.
And then they vote yay or nay on both our hot takes.
Okay. Okay.
So as the guest, I'll let you give your friendship hot take first.
Okay, so my friendship hot take is if one small thing is enough to break your friendship, then you were never really friends to begin with.
Yay. Straight yay. I agree. But actually, what do you count as one small thing?
I just think something like if your friend says to you, can you go to the shops and can you buy me this because I'm feeling unwell? And then you forget or something. And then they're like, no, we can't be friends anymore. That's it. Like, I'm cutting her off because she doesn't care. And I'm just like, then we were never really friends to begin with.
Then there's something deeper.
Yeah,
to
that's
me,
what I
I'm
think
like,
as well.
do you
I'm like,
hate me?
Yeah, because it's like,
You would end a friendship over
Yeah.
a forgotten item. That's
something like
crazy.
that, yeah. Or if it's like, why didn't you contact me over the last like week? And it's like, I have a life.
Yeah, week, I agree. I have a life. Month,
Month is like, it's more nuanced. Like there could be, there's other factors.
yeah.
Yeah.
My hot take may shake the table, especially because this is a podcast about friendship.
Okay.
But this isn't a shade to friendship. I
Okay.
think this is just real. Friends are replaceable.
Ooh.
That's my hot take. That's hot. Do you want me to explain or do you have a
No, I think you should explain because, yeah, explain.
Okay.
Explain.
This doesn't mean that I'm looking at all my friendships right now and I'm like, bye.
Mhm.
Absolutely not. But I think it is a relationship in your life that can be replaced. The friends I had in primary school, bar one person, are not the friends I have today.
Yeah.
And I'm not lonely and sad. So I think some people can get really scared, like, but if I stop being friends with this person, like
It's
I'll
like a
have
whole
no
of my
one.
life, yeah.
Friends are replaceable. They're not like family members in
Yeah.
some cases.
I mean,
Like,
family members are replaceable as well sometimes. So
it's okay. Like for me, sisters, brothers, mom, dad, not
no,
replaceable.
but so,
The only exception to what I'm saying
Yeah.
is people who their friends have become family to them, like become like family.
Oh, yeah.
Then your
No.
friend is not replaceable because
Yeah.
they're literally family.
Yes.
Anybody you consider family, to me, cannot be replaceable because
Yes.
they hold such a.
a weight in your life.
It doesn't mean I look at my friends and I'm like, I
You
can
can go.
swap you out.
Mm.
It's not like a Beyonce, get your bag and get gone. But yeah, I think you'll find other friends and friends come and go. So yeah, that's my take.
Yeah.
Yay or nay?
Yay. Now that you explained it, yay. I completely agree. I think, just like you said, like people are seasonal in your life and that's just how it is. Like
Yeah.
it's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just, they're just meant to be in your life for that particular amount of time.
Because we all grow.
Exactly.
The people I've known for longer than this, but oldest friendship is about 13 years, right? So that's someone that we met when I was 11. You grow during that stage. I have seen different versions of her. She's
Yeah.
seen different versions of
Yeah.
me. The reason we're still friends is because those versions, we're able to embrace them.
Yeah.
But with most people, when you grow past a certain season, you're not able to embrace it. Like you clash. And so the friendship fades, but love is still there.
Absolutely,
Like
yeah. I agree.
some people are seasonal.
Yeah.
Okay. That might sound really harsh. Let us know what you guys think, yay or nay to those hot takes. We both said yay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into this episode then. Now in my 20s, how do I make friends? I think for me, just to start us off, I think it's definitely been a huge journey for me. Something I've been doing is going to places by myself, like not with any of my existing friends,
Okay.
just to meet new people and
Okay.
see how easy it is to make friends. And it's been hard. And I'll tell you
Yeah.
why. The meeting people hasn't been hard.
Yeah.
It's the forming of friendship
Yes.
post that. So let's
Yes.
get into today's episode because I'd want to hear from you and your experiences with that. So my first question though is, so many of us want that close-knit community or village. How do we start building it? Where do you even begin?
I think to find community, you have to put yourself out there. And a lot of people struggle with that because I actually moved to Manchester last year, August, for work. And it was like a fresh city. I didn't have friends there. And I was staying with family relatives at the time. And the relationship that we had was kind of like grandparent, granddaughter. So there's obviously like a big age gap. So it's like I'm not hanging out with them on a Friday night, if you know what I mean. Like it's not that.
It's still doing a careless.
Yeah, it's very much. Mommy, how are you?
Yeah.
What's that? So I was like, how did I build community to the point where I'm a year plus in now? And I would say I know quite a few people.
Okay, tell us then. On to the question.
So the first thing I did was cry. So like, yeah, honestly, I was upset about it for a bit, and I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? Like, it didn't really set in until a little while later, and I was like, okay, I have to put myself out there. How do I do that? And then a friend of mine had told me about Bumble BFF.
Ooh, I haven't tried that.
Yeah.
But I've heard about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, well, I've got to do what I've got to do. Actually, before then, I thought about church because when I was younger, my friends outside of school came from church. So I was like, okay, that seems so logical. Let me go to church. But I can be quite like reserved, and like the service would end and I'd be like, I'm going home.
Oh my gosh, that's my problem right now.
Yeah. Like,
I'm starting to change.
Yeah. Like I want to go home.
But
yeah, I don't know. I just also felt like sometimes when you go to church, people have known each other for such a long time. It feels a bit hard to kind of slot yourself in. So I was like, okay, Bumble BFF is the way to go. So I made my profile. I said I'm new to the city, and you basically just kind of swipe through. And I knew what I wanted. I wanted obviously female friends, and I wanted friends who were from the same kind of background as me and had like kind of the same experiences. So yeah, and I went on like I guess a friendship date. And I remember
how was that?
I was so like nervous at first. It was good though because she's actually my housemate.
Stop. Okay, so you guys became housemates?
Yeah.
Post. My goodness.
Yeah.
I might need to get on Bumble BFF.
No. I definitely recommend it. I think obviously you have to weed your way through because, you know, the best on there. But that's with anything. You have to take chances and you just have to be smart about who you like speak to. But I didn't have a negative experience. And I've met maybe like 4 or 5 girls from there now. So.
And are you good friends with?
I would say that like good enough. Yeah.
Okay, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's really fun. Okay, so what is the first step then? Putting yourself out there?
Putting yourself out there, that's the first step. And seeing how do I put myself out there. So you can also look online, like what are the activities in my area? Like there's this thing in Manchester called Afro Social, and it's for young people. They host like games night, go into that. Do you know what I mean? So it's things like that. Like you have to think, how can I meet people my age, if that's what you want?
Yeah.
Or, you know, a bit older, professionals, if that's what you have to.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by what do you want? Listing it out. This is what I want. You don't have to make a concrete list, but in your head, you know, this is what I want. This is what I'm looking for. And then where can I find that? So you have to take proactive steps. You can't just like wallow in it.
Okay.
Like I
in
want
the
friends.
self-pity.
Exactly. I want friends. I don't know how to do it. You can do it, like honestly. And also mutual friends introducing you to other people. I've met people through that as well. So yeah, that's how I'm like building my community.
I love that. I agree with you on where do you even begin, put yourself out there. So like I said, this year, I started doing that because I wanted to do this episode.
Yeah.
And I remember speaking to my friend about it, and she was like, but Thompson, you have all your friends. Like, she was like, you haven't moved to a whole city and done it on your own. Like, okay, cool. I'm going to start going out like I don't know anyone, right?
Yeah.
So I've tried a lot of events. I've become an extrovert. When I was younger, I had social anxiety. Jesus healed me from that, but I've actually become an extrovert. So going up to someone and being like, hi, you know, all the usual tips, guys. Just go up to people, hi, I like your shirt, obviously genuine compliment. Or just go up to them and be like, hey, can I join you guys' conversation? Yeah. And they're like, yeah, of course. I think you'll get a yeah, of course, if you go to places like centered on meeting new people, which is another point I would raise. When you're starting, don't go to places that it's not centered on meeting new people. Because when you approach a group, then some of them will be giving you attitude like, why are you talking to us, you know? I don't do that. If you ever come up to me, I'll be nice to you because I think
Me too.
I've been on the receiving end of that. I'm just like, that's so unnecessary.
Yeah.
So yeah, with that, I would meet people, have a fun night with them, laugh with them that night, exchange socials. and then never hear from them again. How do you maintain friendships past that initial meeting? Because I've met girls I have fully vibed with, men I've fully vibed with, and then I never spoke to them again. So like, what do?
You have to be intentional.
Okay.
Like if I met you like at a social event, and the vibe was good, and we spoke a couple of days afterwards, maybe we'd want to like plan to do something,
Right.
because it's
So
like
set a date
to like meet so that we can do something one-on-one. But in that time we have to like kind of check in, like, what are you doing? And I do that as well. I'm like, hey, how's it going? Like, haven't heard from you in a while. And it doesn't have to be like a full-on conversation. It can be just like, I'm good, how's work? Oh, it's annoying me. I don't know, that kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, so just be natural and follow up.
Yeah, follow up. Yeah.
So I tried to do this now because I'd met a bunch of people and I wasn't doing that. And I was like, okay, I've now understood the struggle. It's not even, I feel like the meeting people is the easy part.
It is.
I might be wrong.
It is.
Unless you struggle with like, putting yourself out there. But the meeting people is actually especially in London, people put on so many events these days. So you can go to things that align with your passions and your beliefs. It's to keep in contact. So I met this girl at a art gallery event.
Oh, that's cute.
And she was friends with someone I went to school with. So I was like, okay, this time, because this is like fairly recently, I was like, this time I'm going to be consistent because I've vibed with her so well. We've exchanged socials. I was like, we need to go for brunch, right? And so we ended up all having brunch together, and it was an amazing brunch. The night I met the girl, she messaged me and was like, oh, we should do something. Like, we had such a good time.
Yeah.
That's my commitment. Not just vibe with people at events and then go.
Yeah.
Okay. What does it mean to find your people? Is it about shared values, shared experiences, or just chemistry?
For me, it's about shared values and shared interests. Like, it just can't be chemistry. Because taking your example of that person that you met, for example, say that you had that chemistry, but then you didn't have anything else afterwards. It's not going to last. It's not going to be a lasting friendship.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. It's just going to be like kind of a waste of time because you're going to put energy into something and there's no longevity in it. And I'm not saying there has to be like longevity in every friendship, but for it to take off, we have to have commonality. And someone that I actually recently met on Bumble BFF, like maybe 2 months ago, we spoke and she was like, what are your interests? And we kind of like spoke about all of those and we had so much in common. And yeah, like I just feel like you have to have that. You can't think about your friendships that have lasted so long, your 13-year friendship. Like my friend that I also have since year 7, we have a lot in common.
That's true. That is very true. We do have a lot. We have differences, but we do have a lot in common.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
For me, it just can't be chemistry. Like, how long is that really going to last? It's going to fizzle out.
I need to hear this because I think that's what I struggle with.
Okay.
So I agree friendship is like-mindedness. I've said this before on the podcast to you guys, but I can't lie. I'm a people person and I love making new friends. Because I think you never stop meeting people you're going to love. Okay. And I don't do this with men, surprisingly, but I do this with friends. I do get caught up in chemistry. With men, I don't get caught. I'm like values, principles, standards. Yeah. With friends, I can be a bit...
There's a lower threshold.
Yeah. Which you see, what you said is interesting about the age thing. I've realized with age, I'm realizing that changes. Okay. I think when I was younger, chemistry was enough to be my friend. Okay. I wasn't really fussed if we believed in the same thing or had shared values or shared principles. Yeah. I was like, you're funny, we vibe, we laugh, it's calm. Yeah. But as I've become an adult and speaking about this building my community, would I trust you around kids? Like, would I want my kids to like learn anything from you? If I'm looking at all your values and how you live your life and I'm like, why am I friends with you? Yep. So for me, the chemistry thing is something that is fading away now I've gotten older. I'm not making friendships solely based on
vibes.
I see the vibe and then I'm like, okay, let's get to know each other now that there's a vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
I think also when friendships move past the point of talking about other people and actually talking about life and different things and our experiences and gaining advice, would you want advice from someone whose beliefs and fundamental
line with yours
so far? You wouldn't listen to anything they're saying. No. You're like,
why would I listen to you?
I don't want your life. So yeah, I think in building community is something I'm really, really thinking about. Anyway, let me move on to another question. What does community mean to you? How has your definition of it evolved over time?
When I think about community and people around me who I consider my community, it's all about having people to lean on. That's like my number one. I'm like, can I depend on you? Are you dependable? Can I trust you as well? And are you there for me when I need you the most? people who can come together in my time of need, but also just to celebrate me as well. So it's not just in those moments where like I'm down. In the moments where I'm high, you can, you can like be with me and be like, oh my goodness, well done. Like you've done this well. Like, and just like support. Yeah.
I agree. I think support is one of my biggest things.
Yeah.
And going into 2025, I'm planning to like be so committed about having that as a standard in any friendship that I am maintaining moving forward. But also support in terms of opportunities.
That's true. Yes.
We need people around us who we're pulling each other up as we go. So for example, if I know, okay, you want to enter this field and I know somebody there, when I meet someone at an event or networking thing, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a friend who wants to do this. Like, here's her number, whatever it is. That is what community should be and is to me. Also, I think community to me means sharing. And it also means inconvenience.
Actually, what do you mean by that? Can you explain that a little bit? Because
we live in a society that has turned friendship into a thing of convenience.
Okay.
So I don't text you because it's not convenient for me. I don't call you because it's not convenient for me. I'm not coming to see you because it's not convenient for me. I'm not gonna drive to your house and help you do X because honestly, I live on the other side of the city and it's just, I have work tomorrow. It's not convenient for me, right? And I think when we think about communities, people in communities make sacrifices for each other and they do things even if it's inconvenient. You can think of some people in your community that you're like, if they called me today and they had a problem, I genuinely would drop everything. And I think that's what community is.
Yeah, that's so kind as well. Like, and it's so considerate. I always say consideration is the purest form of love. So if a friend did that for me, or if I did that for a friend, that would just be me showing consideration. Like,
on the how has your definition of it evolved over time? Do you think it's changed?
Absolutely. I was actually looking back at what I required of my community at different stages of my life. So when I was in primary school, what I required from my community then was just someone to play with. Do you know what I mean? Someone that
oh my gosh, wait, let's really explore this. You're right. Okay.
Wants and needs. When they change, your definition of what community is evolves and it changes as well. So I was like, okay, so when I was 8 years old, what did I want from my community? My community also predominantly being my family then as well. And because it's like not my chosen community, but the community that I have around me.
Right.
At that point, So, and for that, it's just, like warmth, support, love, all of that, those things that you get from your family. But from my friends, it was just people to play with, a playmate, someone I could talk with. Like, I wasn't expecting a lot from them, like I'm not expecting you to drop everything and come, it's fine. Like, we're 8.
Like, we're 8, okay. Really, truly. My mom looks after my needs.
Like, I've got no money. And then when I'm in secondary school and I chose like maybe 14, what does it look like then? And it's a bit more grown up because you're going through a bit troubling times, like you're in that like puberty phase. So it's a bit more someone that you can rant with, maybe like you can talk about people with, people who are annoying you. It does change. And the expectation changes as well. And I thought about university then. I think actually sixth form, when you're studying, it's like what I expect from my community then is upliftment.
Oh, I love how you're exploring this. Yes.
You can do this. You can do this. You didn't do that well on a test. It doesn't matter next time. Do you know what I mean? And then university, that one, I was a bit like, what did I expect then? But I don't know, because I think it was kind of still the same a little bit. It was still that upliftment, but it was also that mental support at that point because uni is so hard. So hard. So yeah, I think it evolved as my wants and needs and as my life shifted. And in adulthood, what I want now is completely different to what I want at 18. Like, it's still on the same wavelength, but my expectations have changed. I don't expect you to come to my uni room at, come to my house at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
Because you have work the next day.
Yeah. No.
But like when we were in uni, if I was like really upset, maybe I would have that expectation for you to come to my dorm at 2 a.m. Do you know what I mean? So things have just changed. So that's how it's shifted my perspective.
I love what you said. The key thing in that is my wants and my needs have reflected the change of my definition of community over time. Powerful stuff. I actually really love that. And it's made me think, like, you're so right. primary school, I just needed someone to play with.
Yeah.
I also got bullied a bit when I changed schools.
Yeah.
So I also needed like some kind of security
Yeah.
of a group, which I don't need a security of a group now. And secondary school, loyalty was the thing for me, because you're
Ooh,
right.
nice.
We were messy.
Yeah.
So you needed that. For me, loyalty was such a huge thing, because I was
Yeah.
like, I don't want to share something with you.
And then you
it
go
ends
to-
up everywhere.
yeah.
So I was so obsessed with the idea of loyalty when I was in secondary school, which I don't fixate on it as much now, because I guess I assume with adults is a given. Yeah, and you're right, upliftment in uni. And I think now, I was thinking, now that you said that, I was like, why does support mean so much to me? Now I'm like, oh, it's because I'm trying to build all these things, like the podcast. And so I want friends who are willing to cheer me on, support me, reshare, repost, like show up for me while I'm trying to do something that matters to me.
Yeah.
Your wants and your needs are reflecting. I didn't even deep that till you said that. That's really good. Do you think we've idealized the idea of a friendship village? Is it a modern myth, or is it achievable in today's world?
I think it's very achievable. However, how it looks is very different from how it looks for our parents.
Okay,
That's what I think.
Unpack.
With our parents and their village, everyone kind of knew each other and everyone kind of supported each other. So it doesn't look like that now for us. We're too globalized. We're too
globalized. We're too social media.
Yeah, it can't look like that unless all your friends are in the same bubble, and that one is even who has that nowadays? I think it's achievable. It just looks different for us. So your village can be you at the center of it, because it's, you're the main character in your own story. So you're at the center of it, and then all your other groups. So, your uni group, your, friends from home, friends from a new city you move to, whatever it looks like to you. As long as they're all showing up, that's a village in whatever capacity that you want them to show up. And things differ person to person. But if you're showing up in the ways in which, I require of you, and you're meeting my needs and I'm meeting yours, then we're a village in that sense.
I think I agree with you. Do I think we've idealized the idea? Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think we are generally feeling the loss of that. That's why it's become this idealized thing. And then you watch movies and everybody's got their little group that they hang out with. Yeah. And so people look at that and they're like, oh, I've never had my core group of girls. I see that so much online. And I'm like, well, one, I can relate to you because I have many groups of girls I'm part with. I don't do everything with one core group. But I went to my cousin's birthday brunch.
Yeah.
Early in April, and she has a core group, and it was so healthy. Like, you could tell. So with her, all friends from secondary school. So from secondary school, uni till now, right? If you haven't built that, I think it's harder to come by that in your 20s.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Absolutely agree.
I think so. To an extent, you can idealize that and be like, I need that. But as long as your needs are getting met, I think there's no need to hop on it too much.
I agree, yeah.
Okay, my next question is, what role does vulnerability play in building a village? Do you think people hold back too much for fear of rejection?
It plays a really big role. And yes, people do hold back. I'm someone who, I don't like to say more than I need to. You don't need to do that. So am I divulging that information? But I do think you do need to be vulnerable in friendships, and in order to get to that level where people understand you through and through, you do actually have to open up. Of course, you can open up without revealing all of yourself. There's ways to do that. It's not necessarily you need to know my life top to, from book to cover, whatever it is, cover to page, whatever it is. But you can't build a house where you don't know what the foundations are. Do you know what I mean? So
You've got some words.
If I don't know what you're like inwardly, how am I supposed to trust that this is actually a solid, friendship?
I think female friendships are so different from other friendships. At least when I speak to men, I might be wrong. I'm sure there are men who have deep levels of vulnerability. Yeah. But for women, because of how we bond and create communities, it's so deep and real to us. Our friendships are relationships in our life. And not all women feel this way, but a lot of us really do cherish them, and they become a backbone for us and support us. Yeah. Also in your 20s, in your 20s, you're figuring yourself out, hanging out with other people in your 20s and hearing from them. Yeah. You feel seen. Women, the way we bond is it's so deep.
It's intimate.
It's intimate, exactly.
Yeah.
It requires vulnerability.
It does, yeah.
And we also feel weird when we're vulnerable with someone and we notice they're not back.
Yeah.
So then we feel uncomfortable and we're like, oh, I've overshared. Yeah. That's something that people always say, I overshared, or whatever it is, because the vulnerability was not matched. If it was, then you wouldn't feel like you overshared, right? So vulnerability is actually extremely important. If you keep everything to yourself,
Yeah.
no one knows when you're struggling, no
Yeah.
one knows you're going through a situation, then of course none of your friends are supporting you. I used to be that person. I just tell my friends nothing and they'll be like, no one's there.
Yeah.
Like, babe, no one knows you're going through
stuff.
anything.
Yeah.
How are they going to be there for you?
Yeah.
It's only when I started allowing myself to be vulnerable and be like, hey, like, I've had a tough day and I've struggled with this, that then I was giving people the opportunity to show up. And then if they failed that, that's a different situation. So I think if you want a village supports each other.
Yeah.
And you got to ask the people in your village for help. But I think people hold back because there are weirdos out there in the world.
There are.
They're big fat weirdos. They're people who repeat things you tell them.
Yeah.
Also, some things, loyalty, I feel like some things are unspoken.
Yeah.
If I come and I cry to you
Yeah.
about a family issue,
Yeah.
I don't need to, after finish crying, tell you,
Don't tell anybody.
Dayo, please don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Please don't tell anybody I shared this.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah.
To then find out that I've told you about a family issue and you've gone and told like 3 other people.
That's wicked.
That's that's so
Like,
I've had someone
horrible.
do that to me.
It's actually so
It's
horrible.
so disrespectful.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I didn't know it was a secret.
Come on.
Is that something that people need to tell you is a secret? So I think those kind of things make us guarded.
Also, one thing that I think is a fear of being vulnerable is having it thrown back in your face.
I hate when people
It's like, that's actually one of my fears. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I tell you this now, and then you'll turn around and be like, but this is because you are like,
oh
my
my
God.
God.
What?
I know someone who did that to someone. Like, maybe I'll cut this out, but this person, their father wasn't present in their life.
Yeah.
And to get back at them was like, yeah, this is why you have daddy issues. This is why you expect you allow this to happen to you. Da 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 da. And it's like,
That's awful. That's actually so horrible.
why would you say
Why
that?
would you do that?
Why would you say that?
And it comes from just a mean-spirited, because, like...
Which is why, personally, for me, I do not entertain friendships with vengeful or mean-spirited.
Yeah. Because it's like, how can you do that?
If you talk to me, which some people think is so extreme, but if I see how you react when you're mad at one of your friends,
Yes.
I create distance.
Yes.
Someone
It makes me
listening to this
retreat.
and it's like, oh, is that why she stopped being my bestie?
Maybe.
I retreat. Everything in me goes,
Yeah, no.
because when you're mad at someone, you tell all their secrets. I knew someone who was like this. She was the most loving, compassionate friend, but immediately there was a falling out or like a bad vibes, or you guys disagreed and there was a fight. Flip like a switch. She would tell you everything about that person and complaining. And she doesn't remember when her boyfriend cheated on her and I was there hugging her, rubbing her back. She's such a bad friend. Like, I was there with her when she was crying about this and that. That's why she's like this. There are people I'm not friends with today. Till today, I will never share anything that they shared in me in vulnerability.
Yeah.
Have some integrity.
Oh, that's a good word, integrity.
What are we even talking about? So I get why, if you've been through that, you can instantly feel like, if I share this with you, are you going to use it against me?
Yeah.
But
It's now just in your other group chat, like...
Again, that's also another thing.
Yeah, I feel like it's more like, what exactly are you saying to me? Because it's like, if you're telling me something that seems very common knowledge, fine.
Yeah.
But like, if you're telling me something that only you would know if you were told in confidence,
then I'm like,
why are you telling me
How
that?
do I know you wouldn't tell what I've told you?
Yeah.
Confidence, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely feel, but my advice to you, if you're going through that, you need discernment. My discernment comes from the Holy Spirit. I was sitting with these girls and telling them this, like, I was like, I sense it. And I know some people don't believe things are spiritual, but I believe everything is spiritual. There's a spiritual realm to things. Yeah. It is why you can walk into a room and you can sense something's off. Yeah. Something's off. Yeah. Or you'll meet someone and you're like, there's nothing wrong with them, but something is off. Yeah. And sometimes it doesn't mean they're a bad person. Yeah. It just means between you and them,
there's no connection. There shouldn't,
and nothing has happened. You can feel it. Yeah. You need to trust some of your discernment when you meet people. Yeah. I think that's how you can also gauge where to share. On that point of rejection, fear of rejection, I think you need to remember that what we go through teaches us things, messy friendship lessons, but we cannot judge other people by someone else's mistake. I cannot go into a friendship and then come into it with all the anger and the resentment that has come from another friendship and then meet you with all of that. That's not fair. Yeah. You need to heal so that you can come into it, because I do think vulnerability is necessary. Yeah. And you know what? With love, you take a risk each time. And you know what?
Oh, that's so true.
Jesus knew Judas was going to betray him, but he was still his friend.
I saw that, actually. I was like, oh, that's so true.
Jesus knew Judas was going to betray him, and he was still his friend. Yeah. and
He still loved him.
he still loved him.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's a risk that you will take.
Yeah.
It's a risk that you will take. But I pray you don't have to go through
Yeah, I really, no one should go through that.
kind of stuff. It really, 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 really hurts.
Yeah.
You know?
But you do, like, if you do end up going through that, or you have gone through it, just know that, like, you are stronger for it.
True.
Literally, like, the lessons you've learned, they will shape how you go into your next thing. Do you know what I mean? So you're stronger for it.
Although my grandpa, I did an episode with him, but the sound quality is so bad I can't release it. But he's so of the position that trust nobody. Like, he's so firmly trust nobody.
Really?
Don't tell anyone anything, because I wish I could release this episode so it's so good, but because his best friend when he was around our age slept with his girlfriend.
Oh no. So that's like carried on. Like
Man's in his 80s now and he's
trust.
taking that.
No. Yeah.
But some things literally, sometimes you go through experiences,
And it's like alters your brain.
it complete switches it.
Yeah.
Such betrayal.
Yeah.
Because that's
Yeah.
a betrayal. Best friend, and by the way, we're not just talking best friend. Somebody he considered a brother. Like they were like this.
Oh my goodness.
That people would be like, if anyone was looking for him, they'll be like, oh, he's not at his house. He's with like twin brother. Like their families are.
No, that's hard to go through there, honestly. I can imagine why he would like still think that now.
Some experiences, some messy friendship lessons, they alter your brain.
Yeah.
I would say you need to heal from the fear of rejection and just go from it. Because it might hold you back from some amazing friendships.
Yeah, that's really true.
But how do you move past fear of rejection or awkwardness when putting yourself out there?
I think for me, you have to wipe the slate clean. You actually do at every single point, especially when you're meeting a new person. They haven't done anything to you. You have to like literally just pray that this experience you're going into is going to be different from the last one. That's all you can do. Like you can't,
With awkwardness, I would say just do it scared.
That's true. Actually, as well, I'm again, like I said, quite reserved. So in moments where I've approached people first, I'm an overthinker. I've overthought that interaction like 100 times in my head. So I've played it out so many times and I still do it while I'm overthinking. Because you have to like push against the wall, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But I would rather not.
Yeah.
But I basically tell myself, I'm pushing against the wall, you have to do it, Dayo.
Yeah.
And I do it. So
yeah, I'm a firm believer in do it scared.
Yeah.
It changed my life when I saw it on the internet or whatever. But it changed my approach. I was like, I'm going to do it scared. Even the events I've gone to.
Yeah.
Of course I'm scared. Like I'm going with no friend.
Yeah.
I'm going to meet a group of people I don't even know a single person in that room and I'm walking in. Yeah. But each time I'm like, I'm going to do it scared. And I just come up to people. It sounds so beggy to be like, please, can I join your conversation?
Can I go to a party with you guys? Yeah. It was like, can I join for a party?
I wonder if I can join your party. Begging. Literally begging. You're awkward. Don't try and like trick yourself. You're not. I feel awkward about this, but I'm just going to do it anyway. And honestly, rejection therapy. I've done a lot of rejection therapy indirectly.
Can you explain that to me?
So you put yourselves in positions where you may be scared of being rejected. But
okay.
To the point where now I can do my makeup on the train. I can do stuff like that. Stuff that you basically doing things that would quote unquote stress you out or you feel like you would be judged by.
Okay.
It's basically making yourself immune to that.
Yeah.
I've become scary immune to other people's judgment, thoughts, or opinions. Whereas when I was younger, oh my gosh, it ruled my life. I wouldn't do things because I'd be scared people were going to judge me.
Yeah.
But now I just don't care.
Yeah.
Rejection
therapy. I'm not there yet. But maybe
do
one
your
day.
Makeup on the train. What are other things I've done?
I feel like I'm not ruled by other people's judgments, but I feel like there's just certain things I just wouldn't do just because I'm a bit like, I don't know if I should do that. Yeah.
Oh, they may reject me.
Yeah, but I'm not like ruled by it. It doesn't really matter. If I need to do my makeup on the train, I'm doing my makeup on that train.
Period.
Like, who are you?
See, I used to be different. I wouldn't. I'd be like stressed that like people are gonna look at me and judge me. I've put myself in loads of different situations like that to the point where now I'm just immune to rejection. Like going up to people was a huge thing for me. Like I said, I used to have social anxiety. So entering a room by myself and going to talk to people I do not know used to frighten me because I would be like, they're going to reject me, they're going to judge me. I'm so immune to that now. You can put me anywhere and I will speak to anyone. I love that. I could care less. Yeah. One thing I learned, I don't know if it's TikTok or Instagram, but I even told my dad this, and maybe I've said it on the podcast, but our brains, when the feeling we get when we're nervous and excited, the chemical reaction is the exact same. So when you are nervous, before interviews, I do this. It's natural to be nervous. Nervousness shows you care. I tell myself, I'm not nervous, I'm excited. And I repeat it over and over again. And then I'm like, I'm so excited to go into it. And I go into it with that energy. When I'm feeling all, your heart beating and everything, you're like, no, this isn't nervousness, this is excitement. So 'cause your brain doesn't actually know the difference. So
Okay.
lie to it.
Yeah.
And it works for me. Okay, our very last question before we go is, what's the balance between being intentional about building a village versus letting it happen naturally?
I always say that the natural thing is mostly luck.
Yeah.
So the balance is, it depends on looking at analyzing your life, right? And what you don't have, what do you lack and what do you want? That will tell you how you should approach it. If you look at your life and you're thinking, okay, I have everything I actually want and I've got like a great village already, but I would like more, you can kind of wait for it to happen naturally then. But if you're looking and you're thinking, oh, do you know what? I want more people in my life. I want more connections. I want more people or I want to not cut off people, but like I want to kind of, swap people around.
Do a little shift.
Then yeah, you have to be intentional about it. So that's the balance. You have to analyze your life, but you need a mixture of the two. Because you can be intentional about things, but you can actually be intentional about things with the wrong person just because you're not making it natural.
Exactly.
So
have you ever been in a situation where you felt someone was trying to force a friendship on you? Ever?
At our workplace, yeah.
Okay.
For me, I can sense it and I'm like, I'm not interested. I'm not going to lie. Because it's like, we don't have much in common apart from this job.
Fair.
So it's like, because I've spoken to you, we don't have much in common apart from this job. And it's like, I'm happy for us to be work friends, but outside of work, I don't really want us to take it
any further.
Yeah, and that's okay.
And that's okay. We need to respect other people's boundaries on that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's when I've had it where someone's trying to like force a friendship.
Yeah, I think it needs to be natural. So I think it's so true we can be intentional with the wrong people. With making a friendship deeper and developing it, I think that needs to be natural. You can't intentional your way into deeper friendships.
I agree.
And deeper connections.
I agree.
And the times where I felt that someone was doing that to me, it actually pushed me further away because I just felt like,
it feels forced.
Whoa, you're not respecting my boundaries at all, or you're like trying to force me to share by sharing things with me really early, or like trying to like force engineer these scenarios where we hang out. And to me, I'm just like, okay, let it be natural if we naturally flow and balance. But you have to be intentional in maintaining is kind of how I see it. I think the intentionality comes with maintaining rather than the forming. Rome wasn't built in a day. I've said that twice today. Don't try and jump the steps.
Yeah.
Because
don't run before you can crawl.
Exactly. Let it happen naturally. So you meet them, you vibe, okay, maybe let's go for brunch.
Yeah.
Or maybe let's go for lunch.
Yes.
Or maybe let's go hang out and do this.
Yeah.
And then at that hangout, it's not now for you to start divulging every single fact about yourself, your life story, your traumas, cry on their shoulder. That's trauma bonding.
Yes.
Or that's going to scare them away because they will feel this pressure to share back or like feel like, what's going on?
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, don't crawl. What did you say? Don't
run before you can crawl.
Don't run before you can crawl. Just let that bit happen naturally. Be intentional in the making time for each other, checking in, creating hangouts, but don't try and rush the deep connection.
Yeah.
Deep connections come with time, especially for someone like me and you. From what I've heard, it takes me a while to open up to people and tell them things.
Yeah, it really does.
I like to ask my guests one question to finish off the podcast episode on a positive note, because sometimes we get really deep. We talk about things and we're like... So my last question is, what is one thing that you love about a particular friend or friendship in general?
I'm not going to shout out a specific person, but I'm going to just say like my entire group of friends. The one thing I love the most is laughter. Laughter holds such like an important place in my life. Like yesterday, actually, we celebrated a friend's birthday, and it was the first time in like a year that my uni friends, we've all been together, all of us. And we just laughed so much, and there was so much joy, and it felt safe. It felt comfortable.
I love that.
And that for me, it's just those moments I think about. Like even when I'm like going to bed, I'm like thinking about how much we laughed throughout the day, and not just with my uni friends, with my Bristol friends, with my friends in Manchester, whatever it is. Like there's just so much joy, and it makes me happy. So
I love that. I love laughing. I'm a big laughter person. I think I've said that for one of my hot takes. There's no friendship without laughter.
There's none. There is none.
It can't be everyday deep, everyday talking about issues, everyday address conflicts. Like there needs to be everyday politics. You know? We laugh and we get on and we create new memories and we have fun together, and I really, really love that. And happy birthday to whose birthday was it?
It was Inez's birthday.
Happy birthday. Okay, this has been the Messy Friendship Lessons podcast. How's your experience been?
I loved it. Thank you so much for having me. I feel honestly, it's like an honor being here. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. I appreciate. Dayo reached out to me on Instagram because I'd made a post about having a guest, and she reached out and was like, yes, I'd love to come on. And I was like, most definitely we have to. And this has been.
I overthought that before I did it, by the way, but still did it.
But she did it.
I did it.
She did it. Can you see? And now we're here in my house laughing.
Exactly.
So, exactly. And I've actually learned a lot from you, taken away from this in moving into building my community.
And likewise.
Guys, I'm still on my journey in building community. I'm going to say it again. Rome wasn't built in a day. I need to be saying it, honestly. Just know I'm along with you if you're someone who doesn't have that like firm set community yet. Yes, I have a community of people around me, but I think I'm trying to solidify what that will look like for the next phases of my life that I'm going into right now. And so, yeah, I hope some tips that we shared can help you. Thank you, Dayo.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Guys, don't forget to like, follow, and share this episode. And also the podcast in general as well. Because if you enjoyed it, why not? Let other people enjoy it too.
Exactly. Share the knowledge. Share the fun.
Yes.
Okay. This has been the Messy Friendship Lessons podcast. Thank you for listening. I love you all. God bless you. Bye.
Bye.